Hello, everyone. I'm coming on here because I wanted to share four visions that I had in one night. This was actually the early part of August 26th. I was pretty shocked that I even saw all of this because I was not feeling well the night before, and I wasn't feeling well leading up to me having this dream or these visions, I would say. So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in. I don't have interpretations of the dream or of these visions. I'm just going to share everything that I saw. But what I will say is the Lord really has been pressing it upon me to put this out here. So that's what I'm gonna do. All of these visions just came back to back. So the first vision, I was looking at a TV screen and I was seeing like rioting breaking out, but it had the vibe like it was more than a riot. It felt like it was people who had came and just started war, in different parts of this particular community. And it was made known to me that this was taking place in Los Angeles. And I could see civilians defending themselves. The atmosphere was dark. There was a lot of smoke everywhere. The smoke was so thick because of all of the gun weapons that were being fired off. And I could see civilians, like I said, they had all types of weapons and they were fighting back. And there were certain type of weapons that I had never seen before. It seemed like it would be weapons that you would see in the military. But I saw civilians who also were clueless as to what was going on. I could see them pulling up in their vehicles and they were literally shocked out of their mind, just lost and confused because they didn't know what was happening. I saw this one woman, she literally had a baby, like almost a newborn baby in her arms, and she was scared out of her mind. And the next scene, I saw the TV screen again. Because when I was looking at the TV screen the first time, it seemed like it took me inside of the screen to see what was being portrayed on this breaking news. So now that I'm in the scene and I'm seeing what's actually taking place, now I'm back looking at the TV screen. And I see a picture pop up on the top of the screen. And it showed a picture of Peter Doocy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but I will put a picture somewhere up here so y'all know who I'm referring to. But Peter Doocy is a White House correspondent. They pretty much are journalists that reports on anything pertaining to the White House and to the President of the United States. And what I heard was Peter Doocy was injured on stage and he was rushed to the hospital. That's all I heard. And I was immediately taken out of that vision. So that was the first vision. The second vision, I'm walking what looks to be in like a shopping area, but I felt it was more like a grocery shopping area. And I saw this girl that I actually went to school with. I cannot think of her name. I can't even remember her face, but I do know in the dream I knew who she was. And for whatever reason, I felt compelled to start talking to her about what I saw in the first vision. And as I'm beginning to tell her what I saw on the breaking news, and right before I could get out of my mouth, I saw Peter Doocy. She said, "Are you referring to what happened to Peter Doocy?" And I looked at her and I was so shocked. And I'm like, "How did you even know that?" And she said, "Because that actually happened." And I was like, "How could that actually happen if I just saw that in a vision?" And she just kind of looked at me strange, like, "I don't know what to tell you, but that actually happened." And I thought that was very weird. So I was taken out of that vision. Now I'm in the third vision. At this time, I'm with my husband, but we're literally moving in the spirit. Like, I know I say this a lot and it's hard to explain, but the best way I can explain when I'm being shown things in the spirit, or if I say I'm moving in the spirit or I'm hovering in the spirit, It's like my body is moving in a way that is not natural. Like I'm not physically walking, I'm not physically turning my head, I'm not physically moving my limbs. It's like I'm literally being carried and moved in certain directions. And that's how it was. And I knew my husband was next to me. And so we're moving in the spirit and we're just being taken to this place. And I don't know where I was. But all of a sudden there was this one area that it focused on for a while. And this looked like a small boxed out area. And the ground was wet. It looked like it had just rained. And I saw this white plastic bag laying on the ground. And as I'm still looking, I see these two baby birds walk out of this plastic bag. And they're just wandering around. And I see these huge, giant green leaves. Like these leaves were so just giant, like they were abundant. And some of them were on vines, some of them were just kind of scattered. But all of the leaves had white spots on them. And I knew, like, there was a feeling that I had that God was correlating that with what I had experienced with some plants that I had, tried to grow for real. And they were getting these white spots on it. And I understood that these plants were becoming diseased. And so I know that's why God gave me this imagery so I could make the connection to what I was being shown. So again, I'm seeing these huge green leaves. Some of them were on a vine. Some of them were just kind of scattered abroad, but every last one of them had white spots on it. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing this song playing in the background, and it's the Star Spangled Banner. Like I'm literally hearing the Star Spangled Banner playing. It was just the instrumental playing. I didn't hear the words, but it was just the instrumental. And my husband just out the blue said, they don't know where they're going. And he was referring to those two baby birds. And I asked him, I said, what do you mean they don't know where they're going? I know he responded, but for whatever reason, I can't remember what his response was. And I was pulled out of that third vision. The fourth vision, I'm with my husband again, and I'm with two boys. These boys did not look like my sons. One of the boys looked like they were maybe a year old. The second one looked like he was maybe about 3 years old. They were very young. And we were waiting in this waiting area. I don't know why we were there. I can't remember that, but I just know we were sitting in this waiting area. And there was a breaking news that came up on the TV that was positioned on the wall in the waiting room. And I'm looking and I'm seeing that the first scene that pops up, I just see nothing but fire. Like at the bottom of the screen, it was like different cities scrolling at the bottom. And the first one I saw was the city that I live in. And after I kept seeing that, I just saw different cities just scrolling at the bottom. And it was made known that there were people that I knew that were not American citizens. They had came into our country and they literally started targeting certain memorial spots in the United States. Any area that was dedicated to battles that had been won, any areas that were dedicated to just anything that was pointing to a time in history where the United States had conquered in some form, and they put or they created some type of memorial in that particular city for that. They were literally targeting those places, and I could see just buildings like caught on fire. Like it was just complete destruction. And I just had this feeling like we got to get back home. Like we have to hurry up and get home. And so me and my husband, we got up and we started to go outside because I was looking for my car so we could leave. And it seemed like it took forever for me to find my vehicle. And so we was walking and we ended up in this other place where I saw these guys and I knew these guys were not American citizens. And I knew these were some of the guys who were responsible in causing a lot of the destruction that I had been seeing. And one of the men looked at my husband and said, "So you're one of the ones who were waving the flag," or he either said that, or he was like, "Oh, so this is one of the ones who have been waving their flag." And when he said that, I looked at my husband because my husband wasn't waving a flag. But I felt like maybe that reference was made because we do have a flag that we fly outside of our home, an American flag, because my husband did serve in the military. So we definitely, we do honor the American flag. So I kind of felt, I didn't have that thought in the vision, but when I woke up, that's what I was kind of thinking. Maybe that's why that reference was made. So when he said that, my husband didn't say anything, but I knew something bad was about to happen. And I grabbed my husband's hand. The baby that I had, it was wrapped in a white cloth. It looked like I had tied this white cloth around the front of my stomach, and the baby was positioned inside of it. And then the 3-year-old, he was on my left side. And so I grabbed my husband's hand on the right side of me, and I grabbed the other boy's hand on the left side of me. And I looked at my husband. I said, "Trust me." I said, "We're about to leave here." And I held on to his hands, and I looked up into the heavens, and I said, "Fly." And we began to raise up all the way to the top of the ceiling, and we pierced through the ceiling. And we literally just started soaring, like just flying. We was flying over these huge bodies of ocean. We was flying over different land masses, over different areas. And the whole time I just kept thanking God, like, "Lord, I thank you for rescuing us. Lord, thank you for delivering us. Lord, thank you for making a way of escape for us." I was singing praises to him, just blessing him, because I knew he was, allowing us to escape. There were a few instances where in our journey to try to get back home, I noticed that I wouldn't feel my husband's hand. And I would kind of like hold my hand back to try to reach for it. And there were times where I could reach for it, and I would just lock his arm with mine, and he would just kind of lay his head on my shoulder. But there were times where my husband, he was fascinated with certain things because we were passing so many things, and it was like he had kind of ventured into this area, and I was calling for him because I didn't see him. And so I hurried up and went back to get him. And I was like, "What are you doing? You can't stay here. We got to go." And he was like, "Oh, well, I saw something that I had always been curious about. And I knew I would be able to finally get the answer to that." And I was like, "We can't stay." I said, "We got to keep going." And so he grabbed my hand and we started going again. And then there was another instance where he stopped again and he went back to this place. And I'm like, "What are you doing? We cannot keep stopping." And he was like, "Oh, I thought I saw this person that he made reference to is actually one of his cousins." And I was like, "Babe," I said, "we cannot keep doing this." I said, "Do you want to be left behind?" And he said, "Of course not." I said, "Okay, we got to keep going." And as I said that, we literally started going again, and I was taken out of that vision, and I woke up. And I was awakened by my alarm, and I literally had my alarm set that morning to go off at 7 a.m. So I literally was pulled out of that vision at 7 a.m. And those were the 4 visions that I had. I really don't want to put a lot of emphasis on what I saw because I'm still processing. Like I said, I couldn't believe that I saw all of this. And I know there is still so much that I just couldn't remember because, when I'm in a vision, a lot of times I'm very much aware I'm in the vision and I'm literally trying to capture as much as I can. I'm trying to remember everything I'm seeing because a lot of times when I'm in visions, it's like everything is so fast paced. Like I'm trying to take it all in. I'm trying to capture everything as much as I can possible. But sometimes it's just impossible to remember every single detail. But I know there was so much more that I saw. I'm very fascinated with why did I hear the Star Spangled Banner when I was in the second vision. I did look up as far as what birds symbolize, and I do know that a lot of times God references birds to people. I did feel like for me to see those two baby birds, I feel it was emphasizing how we as human beings, in so many ways, we are like babies to God. But for my husband to say they don't know where they're going, and then I'm hearing the Star Spangled Banner, and also, mind you, I had the other vision not too long ago, where I was literally soaring in the heavens, and I was soaring over a crowd of people in broad daylight, and I was singing America the Beautiful. America the Beautiful in opera. And now I'm hearing the Star Spangled Banner playing in the background of this vision. I feel God is speaking to the heart of America, what America stands for, why God set America apart. I think he's calling attention to the fact that a lot of people in America have forgotten the purpose behind why God created this nation. I think a lot of people are lost in the sense of not really knowing, of course, who God is, but just the purpose in what God is doing in this nation. I just feel like there's something that God is calling remembrance to help us understand that he still loves this nation and he hasn't forgotten. Although a lot of us have forgotten, he hasn't. What this nation was stood on, the principles that it was stood on. And I feel that for me to see those huge leaves, it represents abundance. And for those leaves to be diseased, it just shows the condition of America right now. But like I said, you guys, I'm still trying to figure all this out. I have been having many, many dreams, especially this year, where I'm seeing myself rescuing people kind of in a similar fashion. It's usually my family that I'm seeing, my children, my husband, and I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm grabbing them by their hands. I'm looking up into the heavens and I say, fly. And we're literally taken out of the places that I'm seeing that we're in to get to safety. I've been seeing that a lot. Like that is honestly becoming just a common theme. And I'm still trying to understand it. I don't fully know what God is communicating to me there. But I am concerned too about the fact that God literally showed me in the first vision that something was going to break out in Los Angeles. And it literally felt like it was having to do with the citizens of this nation versus people who are not citizens of this nation. It looked like there was some type of war, some type of battle between the two. And it caused a lot of destruction. And I also urge you guys to pray for Peter Doocy, because I know there's a reason why I saw that. For me to literally see his face pop up on the screen, and I literally heard Peter Doocy was injured on stage and was rushed to the hospital. And also another part that I forgot to mention, after I heard that, my actual thoughts and feelings that I had in that moment inside of the vision, I literally was thinking to myself, Biden and the Democrats, they were trying to get rid of anyone who they felt stood in the way of what they were trying to accomplish. It was like, it was a knowing that this is why Peter Doocy was put in harm's way, because they were angry at him and anybody that tried to stand in their way. And if any of you know Peter Doocy, he literally calls out the things that is so clear to a lot of us Americans. He literally calls out the lies and the things that they're intentionally doing to hurt America and the citizens of this nation. He's fearless. He's bold. I can tell he really does have a love for this country. I can tell he stands on principle. He respects the Constitution of America. I just encourage you guys to pray for him because, like I said, I know I saw this for a reason. I did have another vision. I'm not going to put it in this video, but I had this vision actually, I want to say it was in July, I know. And I sat on it because I was trying to be sure how I wanted to share it or if I really felt like God wanted me to share it. But I will share it with y'all. But I really felt like I needed to put this out first. Please take this to the Lord in prayer. I don't want y'all to hear these visions and have any fear in your heart. Understand that when God shows his people things, he's going to show the good and the bad. I don't want y'all to feel as if the things that God has been having me to say to y'all is not something that y'all should take to heart, because I still believe God is restoring this nation. I still believe that there is a latter rain that's coming. I still believe there is revival. I still believe that the purpose behind that is to usher in this end time harvest. I still believe in everything God has been showing me with the Exodus, the song that God birthed in me to put out here to you guys. That song I just uploaded called the Exodus. All of these things that I've been sharing with y'all, it's still true. But God shows things sometimes out of sequence. I have so many dreams that I've shared with y'all, and so many dreams that I had back in 2016 that started coming to pass in 2020, 2021. So just because he shows you something at a certain time doesn't mean that's when it's going to happen. So I just want to put this disclaimer out here because I know that can be a little confusing. But like I said, I don't have a lot of interpretation with what I was shown. I just know God is wanting me to release this to you guys. Again, pray for Peter Doocy. I really feel concerned in that. And Lord willing, I will talk to you guys soon. Take care, you guys.